Welcome to our admissions podcast, A Pathway to Princethorpe, a podcast series designed to assist parents just like you in the exciting journey of applying to Princethorpe College. Throughout this series, we'll delve into the admissions process, explore everything from understanding our school's ethos to practical tips for preparing your child for our entrance exams and beyond.
Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of admissions, let us take a step back and introduce you to Princethorpe College. Founded on a rich history and a commitment to academic excellence, Princethorpe is more than just a school. It's a community dedicated to nurturing the potential of every student who walks through its doors.
Throughout this series, we will be your guides, providing insight, answering your questions, and shedding light on what sets Princethorpe apart. So whether you're a first-time parent navigating the independent of a school's admissions process, or considering a change for your child's education, you've come to the right place.
So, sit back, relax, and join us as we embark on this journey. Let's navigate the admissions pathway to Princethorpe together. Hello and welcome back to our podcast, The Pathway to Princethorpe. You're here with Georgia and Catherine, and today we're going to be looking at scholarships and bursaries. So a bit of an extension to the previous episode where we looked at the application process. So Catherine, can you tell me what is the difference between a scholarship and a bursary?
That is a question that we get asked an awful lot. So the difference between a scholarship and a bursary is a scholarship is an award made on the child's particular merit. It's not means tested in any way. Anybody can apply for them, and it is particularly associated with an academic or a subject area of school life. A bursary is applied for separately, and it is means tested against a joint household income. So just as a rough guide, a sort of ballpark figure, a joint household income of more than £60,000 would be unlikely to be eligible for bursary support. However, we always think if you're on that borderline, sort of 50 to 60,000, it is still very much worth an application, and our bursary team will be able to advise you further.
So should we have a look at scholarships first? Because we've got a wide range of those on offer, haven't we?
We do. So we have academic scholarships, which are awarded to those candidates who perform particularly well in the entrance exams.
But that's not applied for, is it?
That's right. There's no separate application form for academic scholarships. These are purely judged on the basis of those entrance exam results. Those who we think are looking like promising academic scholars, parents will get a phone call in the week following the entrance exams to invite their child to come in for a short interview with the headmaster, and the award is made based on those entrance exam results and that short interview after the entrance exam. So no separate application, but we will be in touch if your child is being considered.
Okay, so another scholarship that we don't offer as an application scholarship, but that probably is worth just touching on, is our all-rounder scholarship.
That's right. This is something that's changed slightly in the last couple of years. So perhaps if you've got an older child who's been through this process before, this might be slightly different. The all-rounder scholarship is, as George has clarified, is not applied for separately. There's no need to send in portfolios or anything like that anymore. This is a scholarship that's awarded purely at Mr. Dutoy, the headmaster's discretion. We will look at, in the admissions panel, those who have performed academically well, but also have demonstrated particular strength in other extracurricular areas. And this might be evidenced by the fact they've applied for other scholarships, or it might be on the information that parents have provided on the application form.
Okay, so there's not a strict criteria to adhere to. It's not, and you also don't strictly have to apply for other scholarships, do you?
Not at all.
It might be based on the other information that we have.
Indeed. So it's just where we can see that a child has strengths in a lot of areas, academic and outside the classroom, that it just might be suitable that it's felt that this particular candidate is worthy of a scholarship and seems to fit that good all-rounder criteria.
Yeah, and we'll talk a bit about expectations of if a child does receive a scholarship, what that will look like for them when they join the college.
Absolutely.
In a minute, but just on that all-rounder, then they'd be expected to participate in a wide range of school areas and school life.
That's right. So if they're particularly talented in sport or music or drama or a mixture of, then they would be expected to fully immerse themselves in the co-curricular life of the school.
Okay, so let's have another, I'll just quickly run through the other scholarships that we do have on offer. So all of these are based off an application that you as parents put in at the point of applying for a place. So we've got sport, art. And then in the performing arts department, we have a music, drama, performing arts, dance, and choral scholarship. Is that right?
Yes, I think that's right. I think that's all of them.
So these are different in the fact that these are applied for, like I just said. So when you go through your application process, when you do your application process online, there are some forms at the top of the page that you can download. You fill these in and these get attached with your application.
That's right.
We won't go through it. It'd be a bit boring if we sit here and dictate absolutely every single entry requirement and all the different documents that you need to apply for these scholarships. But you can go onto our website, and if you download our prospectus, then you'll be able to go through and have a look what each one requires. When you are applying, what's the best way to go about applying for a scholarship with all the documents and things? Because I know sometimes there are several documents for one single scholarship.
There are. So there is a form that you will need to complete for each subject scholarship. You're welcome to apply for more than one. That's absolutely fine if you think your child is talented in different particular areas. So you might apply for art and music or sport and drama, whatever is suitable for your child. Each of those subject scholarships will have an assessment day before the entrance exams. And if you submit a scholarship application, we will advise when those might be. So depending on what it is, if it's music or musical theatre or drama, those sorts of performing arts ones will have auditions. The art scholarship has a separate art scholarship assessment day, and the sport has a sports assessment day. And this year we're actually going to run two, one for boys and one for girls. So all of that will be taken into account when deciding which candidates are going to receive a scholarship award.
And like we just mentioned, there are different things that you need to submit. So for example, for art, you need to submit a portfolio, and there's various different things there. For a music scholarship, they want you to submit a recording of your first instrument. So it is worth just having a good read of that information that's on the prospectus.
Yes.
So you've got a good idea of what they're looking for, what standard they're expecting for a scholarship, and also what they want you to send
Yes,
in.
for the art assessment, there is quite specified pieces of work that Mr. Hubble, the Director of Art, wants to see. So it's all in our admissions and entrance exams booklet, which you may have a hard copy of if in a prospectus pack, or as Georgia said, it's downloadable from the website.
And it is worth noting, just on more of an admin point, that when you are applying, you can only submit one extra document with that scholarship application. So if you have more documentation, or if you're applying for more than one scholarship, you are very welcome to email us at admissions@princethorpe.co.uk. Or if you want to merge all of the documents into one PDF file and submit that one as well, that's perfectly acceptable, and we can work with that.
Whichever's most convenient, it's not a problem either way. You will find when you're completing the scholarship application forms that you will be asked to provide 2 references. We just want to make it clear that it isn't the parent that needs to provide these references, as in that they need to ask for them to be submitted by the child's extracurricular coaches or teachers. So if you're applying for a sports scholarship, for example, we would be looking for their sports coach to be sending a reference in. If it is for a musical theatre scholarship, it might be their dance teacher or their drama teacher. Whatever it is that's most appropriate, you will know who coaches your child's activities. But it is up to the parents to seek that reference and get that sent over. We don't mind if the parent sends it themselves, or if the actual coach or activity leader sends it directly to admissions@princethorpe.co.uk. What we would like to see, if possible, that it's on headed paper or with a sort of official signature, just so that we can check the validity of the references should we need to. That would be most appreciated.
Brilliant. And just before we get on to perhaps what a scholarship assessment day looks like, it's important to note as well that scholarships are awarded at the point of entry. So far, we've talked a lot about our Year 7 entry, but you can, if you're applying for a Year 8 place or a Year 9 place, again, it's that award at the point of entry. So
That's
you're welcome
right.
to apply then.
They are awarded when the child enters the school. Unfortunately, they're not able to be awarded retrospectively. So once the child has started, but then applications for scholarships reopen again in Year 11 for applications to sixth form. So if your child is sadly not successful at this point, then they have another chance at the older end of the school.
And it is also perhaps worth mentioning that they are oversubscribed. So obviously this is a competitive application process. Not everyone will be successful.
No, unfortunately, although we would be delighted to be able to offer to everybody that applies, sadly, we just don't have the resources to do so. So, however, we always say that we can't make an award if you don't apply.
Definitely.
So if you think that your child is talented in any particular area of school life, please do submit an application, because then at least we can take it on board, have an assessment, and you never know, your child might be one of the lucky ones that gets an award in that year.
Definitely. And if you do apply with a scholarship, if you're not successful in the scholarship, that's not to say that the whole application isn't successful. You can, of course, be offered by itself without the scholarship, regardless of
Indeed, and that is very important to make clear, that we make a decision to make an offer of a place before anything at all. So that decision to offer a place is made, then we look at any applications for scholarships and bursaries. So the fact that somebody's applied for a scholarship or a bursary does not have any effect at all on whether their child is going to be offered a place or not.
And if we just have a quick conversation perhaps about scholarship assessment days. So these vary, don't they, quite a bit between different departments and what scholarship they're applying for. But for example, what does a sports scholarship assessment day look like?
Okay, so sports scholarship assessment days will usually be sort of approximately 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock. They will get the chance to do some fitness training with our senior sports directors. They will also have the chance to have a one-to-one or a small group interview, depending on what sport they're interested in, to talk about their passions and their successes in their particular sport. If it's a school sport where we have the facilities like football, cricket, hockey, netball, anything like that, there will be the chance for them to play in the later part of the assessment day. Obviously, if they're in equestrian, we don't ask them to bring their horse with them to the assessment day, but it may be more appropriate that they are able to show some video of their particular sport, or just speak to the member of staff who is responsible for that sport, just to give the oversight of their particular successes and an enthusiasm for the sport.
Okay, and in terms of art scholarships, so that's also about 9:30 till 2 o'clock, isn't it? There's quite a lot that goes on there.
So that's a good full day with school, usually finish sort of 2:30ish, and that's with Mr. Hubble, who's the Director of Art, and he will oversee the assessment day. As we've already mentioned, if you have a look online or in our admissions booklet, you'll find a very detailed description of all the pieces of art that the children will need to bring with them into their assessment day. So you don't need to particularly submit that in advance, just bring it with you to the assessment day. That's usually on the Wednesday before the entrance exam day is on the Saturday. So in all of the assessment sessions are in October and November. So with the art day, they will be able to present their portfolio to Mr. Hubble, go through why they've chosen those particular art, and they will also complete some pieces of work during the time that they're in school on that day. So it's a really great morning, really fun. And for those who are really keen on art, it's a chance to just come to school and do nothing but art for a day. So it always goes down well.
Which is brilliant. And then performing arts, that's slightly different to the arts and sports scholarship days, isn't it? They're slightly shorter. It's more about an audition.
That's right. So for musical theatre, drama, they will have an audition in our Clarkson Theatre. Again, there will be details of the sorts of things that they have to bring. I believe it's they need 2 out of 3 out of singing, drama and dance. So not all 3, but for the musical theatre scholarship this is. So they would be expected to perform a short song or a short monologue or a piece of dance. So 2 out of the 3 ideas in order to have their full audition. For the music and choral scholars, they will have an audition with Mr. Cowlishaw, who's our Director of Music. I think this year we're going to ask candidates to send in a video clip of them playing their first instrument or singing, so that will help Mr. Cowlishaw with his setting up his timetable for the auditions. And you'll be sent a link if you're going to be called for audition to book your preferred time slot on the days before the entrance exam. So again, it's that week before the entrance exam. We'll send you that link to book into Mr. Cowlishaw's calendar at your most convenient time slot.
So that's all about scholarships. If you want any more information, as we've said before, it's all on the prospectus, so go and have a look there. But if we move away now and we talk about bursaries, so as Catherine said at the beginning of the episode, bursaries are not to do with the child's achievements or abilities, but this is a means-tested award for the school. Is that right?
That is absolutely right. And as we said, there's a rough ballpark figure for eligibility is a joint household income of about 60,000. That's not to say that some families don't have special circumstances, and so it's always worth inquiring. So if you think you're hovering around that borderline, they are applied for separately. So as George has said, you need to register for the entrance exams first, indicate on the form that you're interested in a bursary, after which our lovely bursary PA, Mrs. Wendy McCann, will be in touch, and she will send you the link to a separate online portal for you to upload your financial documents. This then goes to an external financial advisory company who will go through everything and in complete confidence will feed back to the headmaster and the bursary where the level of eligibility comes in. So once you've uploaded your financial documents, there's nothing else you need to do. If anything is missing, Wendy McCann will be in touch to let you know what else is required. It does take quite a little while to get everything together and to get everything assessed. We usually reckon about 3 weeks. So although the deadline to apply for both entrance exams and bursaries is the same, it's usually the end of September before the entrance exams take place in the November, we would recommend that you apply early if you're thinking of applying for a bursary as well, because of that extra time that it takes to get all the documentation straight. So as long as you've applied sort of early September, that should be plenty of time. So we do have a particular bursary award that is also available to Catholic families. This is called the Thomas More Scholarship, which I appreciate is somewhat confusing because it's called a scholarship, but is actually a bursary. This is a means-tested award for children who are baptised and practising Catholics, and they need to go to a state Catholic primary school. The Thomas More Scholarship is applied for in exactly the same way as the bursary. It just has its own particular name, and it is awarded, as I say, specifically to those who are from practising Catholic families. To apply for the Thomas More, as I say, the system is exactly the same. We just need, in addition, a letter from your parish priest or an email, and a letter or email from your child's head teacher, just confirming that they regularly attend Mass and they are well established within the Catholic life of the church and the school. If you've got any queries about applying for a Thomas More, please do get in touch.
And a question that we do get a lot, both for the normal bursary and the Thomas More Scholarship bursary, is whether we can give you an idea as to whether you would be eligible or whether you'd get a bursary without having applied first. Now, we completely understand that for some families it's quite difficult because unless you were to be awarded bursary or a scholarship, that this wouldn't be feasible. However, due to the nature, especially the bursaries, due to the nature of the application process and the inquiries into the finances and things, it is a very rigorous process. So we do insist that there is a registration first. Obviously, we can give you, like we have done, a bit of a ballpark figure. But if you've got any questions or you are thinking about it, come and visit us, come and talk to us. We always want to hear from you. So if you've got any questions in that department, then just inquire.
Again, another question we do get asked a lot is how much is an award likely to be? And it will vary very much between individual circumstances. For scholarships, so for those who are applying for the art, the music, the drama, academic, that sort of thing, they tend to range typically between about a 5 and a 20% discount on tuition fees. Sometimes for very strong academic candidates, it can be a little bit more than that. Again, sometimes children are super brilliant in lots of different areas, in which case sometimes a higher award is made because 2 scholarships have been able to be added together. With bursaries, it is possible to get 100% of tuition fees paid for by the college. It's only fair to say that this is quite unusual, but it's not unheard of. We do have children in school who are fully supported on college funds. However, unfortunately, our resources are not infinite and we're not able to necessarily make awards to everybody who applies, sadly. But everything is awarded on merit, and usually the lower the household income, the higher the level of eligibility. So if you earn a lower amount, the higher award is more likely to be awarded. But as George has already said, we have to look into the financial situation of every individual family, and every family looks different. So it is impossible to say in advance exactly how much an award we're going to make. But what we can promise is that when those offer letters are sent out at the end of November, everything that you've applied for will be detailed in that offer. The outcome of the entrance exam results, the outcome of any scholarship applied for, and the outcome of any bursary will be detailed in the letter. Only time that possibly might be different is if a late bursary application came in, so after the deadline, where there hasn't been enough time to process that application. We might be able to confirm that we'd like to offer your child a place at the college, but we won't be able to detail if a bursary is coming with that offer until we've had all the documentation through, but that will be fully explained in the letter.
Okay, and I think that concludes everything for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that's given you a bit of an insight into our scholarship and bursary application process, and we look forward to welcoming you to the next episode, which is all about preparing your child for the entrance exams.
Oh, super important, that one. Please do listen in. So, of course, as always, if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about, anything that's not clear, or anything you want to ask about a particular individual circumstance, please get in touch. admissions@princethorpe.co.uk. Thanks so much for listening, and we really look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And that concludes this episode of The Pathway to Princethorpe. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and valuable in helping you navigate the admissions process for your child.
Remember, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like us to cover in future episodes, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can email us on admissions@princethorpe.co.uk. Your feedback is essential in shaping this podcast to better serve you, our listeners.
And as always, stay connected with us on our website and social media channels for updates and additional resources. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our podcast so that you never miss an episode.
Thank you for joining us. Until next time, take care and best of luck with your admissions process. We look forward to welcoming you to our Princethorpe community soon.